It began with a single image, a pale, ghost-white face floating in the dark like a nightmare torn loose from someone's mind. No context, no source, no explanation. Just that frozen smile stretched far too wide to be human, and those hollow circles where eyes should have been. People didn't know what they were looking at, yet something inside them insisted they shouldn't be seeing it at all. The photo felt wrong, like it carried a story that was never meant to reach the public. And when the image first spread online, many believed it had to be a real person, someone who had suffered something unspeakable. Others said it was a manipulation, a joke taken too far. But the truth was simpler and far more disturbing. No one knew where the face came from. That was the moment the internet realized it wasn't looking at a simple picture. It was staring into the beginning of a legend that would soon be known as Jeff the Killer. After the photo began circulating, rumors formed like smoke around it. Some claimed it belonged to a girl who had undergone extreme reconstructive surgery. Others insisted it came from a hospital archive that had somehow leaked online. Forums filled with arguments, theories, and blurry reposts of the same haunting smile. People zoomed in on the eyes, trying to understand why they looked burned, melted, or carved open. They slowed down the contrast, brightened shadows, seeking answers that never came. And while these debates grew, something else was happening, something that no one noticed until it was too late. The image had become a magnet for curiosity. Viewers weren't just unsettled, they were obsessed. They wanted to know who the face belonged to, what had happened, and why the expression looked so painfully forced. It was this intense fascination that opened the door for storytellers, writers, and creators. Someone finally attached a name to the face, a simple, almost ordinary name. Jeff. And with that name came a story that would turn the eerie photo into an internet phenomenon. The story that emerged wasn't heroic or tragic. It was violent, slow, and unsettling. According to the earliest version, Jeff was an ordinary boy who slowly began slipping into a darker state of mind after a series of traumatic events. Victims of bullying, a violent confrontation, and a fire that left his face grotesquely altered. These details shaped the legend. But what truly unsettled readers wasn't the violence, it was Jeff's transformation. He didn't hide his wounds. He embraced them. The story described him staring at his reflection for hours, smiling wider and wider until the smile stuck. It depicted him whispering to himself in the dark, losing touch with reality step by step. And then came the line that would echo through the internet for years. Go to sleep. A simple sentence, delivered with calm cruelty, spoken to his victims before attacking them. Whether people believed the story or not didn't matter. What mattered was how real it felt, how easily the photo matched the madness described in the tale. As the legend spread, people across the world tried to recreate the iconic look. They painted their faces white, carved the wide smile with makeup, and filmed themselves in dimly lit rooms, whispering the famous line. Dozens of fan films appeared overnight. Some were silly, others genuinely horrifying. Teenagers recorded reenactments. Low-budget horror creators built entire channels around the character. And yet, none of these attempts could fully capture the unnerving emptiness of the original photograph. Something about that first image felt too raw, too unfiltered, too wrong. Even professional editors couldn't replicate the unsettling glow of the skin or the uncanny expression. The more people tried, the more mysterious the original became. It was almost as if recreating the face only highlighted how unnatural the real one was. And for every fan adaptation, for every short film, for every whispered "go to sleep," the legend didn't fade. Instead, it grew stronger, feeding off attention, curiosity, and fear. With millions asking the same question, where did the photo come from? Internet detectives began digging. They searched through old forums, deleted posts, archived threads, and abandoned websites. Some believed the picture originated on 4chan, uploaded by an anonymous user who vanished afterward. Others argued it came from a small, forgotten Japanese forum. A few insisted it had been stolen from a now-removed YouTube video. But every lead hit the same dead end. No original file, no timestamp, no source. The metadata was wiped clean. The first upload was always a re-upload. The oldest versions were always copies of copies. It was as if the photo had simply appeared out of nowhere, dropped into the internet like a curse with no beginning. This unexplained origin became the core of the Jeff the Killer mystery. People weren't afraid because it was real. They were afraid because no one could prove it wasn't. What makes Jeff the Killer so memorable isn't just the story or the photo, it's the reaction it triggers in the human mind. The pale skin, the stretched smile, the shadowed eyes. They all hit deep, instinctive fears. The fear of distorted faces, the fear of being watched, the fear of something human that feels just a little too wrong. Psychologists call this the uncanny valley effect. The closer something is to looking human, but not quite, the more disturbing it becomes. Jeff the Killer lives in that exact space. The image isn't a monster, but it isn't a normal person either. It's frozen between the two, trapped in a disturbing limbo. And when combined with the whispered, cold phrase, "go to sleep," the effect becomes unforgettable. Even after years, viewers remember the face. They remember the eyes. They remember the smile. And most of all, they remember the feeling. Over the years, Jeff the Killer didn't fade away. Instead, new generations discovered him through TikTok edits, YouTube documentaries, animations, VR horror games, lost tape-style videos, and even fake real sighting clips. Some creators reinvented Jeff as a tragic figure. Others turned him into a supernatural killer. Some treated the story like a true crime case. But regardless of the interpretation, the core remained untouched. The face, the smile, the whisper. Jeff became more than a creepypasta. He became a digital urban legend, reshaped over time, but never erased. Kids who were too young to remember the original forms now encountered him in modern horror trends. The myth adapted, evolved, and survived. Today, Jeff the Killer continues to haunt the internet. Not because of the story, not because of the fan films, not because of the famous "go to sleep." He endures because the most important question remains unanswered. Who is the person in the photo? No one has ever come forward. No one has ever proven the origin. No official image has ever surfaced. And the longer the mystery stays unsolved, the more powerful the legend becomes. The internet created Jeff, but it never figured him out. And maybe that's why, after all these years, people still feel uneasy when they see the image. Because somewhere, buried in that smile and those empty eyes, lies a truth no one has ever uncovered. And until that day comes, Jeff the Killer will never sleep, for